What a statement from the Denver Broncos. This team didn't just win, they dominated the Dallas Cowboys, a team the national media never stops calling America's team. With their top defensive playmaker missing most of the game, Denver still smothered one of the league's most dangerous offenses and held Dak Prescott and that elite wide receiver group to just 7 points. 7. That's not just a win, that's a message. They controlled the pace, the attitude, and the energy of this game so completely that Dallas had to bench Dak with over 7 minutes still on the clock. That's not normal. That's not accidental. That's a team breaking another team's will. Now, before we go any deeper, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, share this video with your friends, and tap the notification bell so you never miss an update. We've got a lot more coming, and trust me, you'll want to be here when the Broncos keep this ride going. Because this isn't luck. This isn't a fluke. This is a team that's finally starting to click under Sean Payton, a coach who has always played the long game. Early struggles? That's just the setup. He puts things on tape, forces opponents to adjust, and then hits them with answers they aren't ready for. And now the adjustments are landing. Hard. The Broncos didn't just survive October, they swept it. A brutal schedule. International travel. No bye week. And they came out stronger than they went in. Even fans outside Denver were talking after this one, those throwback uniforms, the attitude, the swagger, this team looked alive. And the best part? They shut down top receivers without their shutdown corner for most of the game. They contained one of the hottest running backs in football and held him to just 41 rushing yards. This wasn't just a win. This was a statement of arrival. And we've only just begun to talk about what the offense is doing. Sean Payton isn't just calling plays, he's playing chess while opposing coaches are still figuring out checkers. He always has answers ready, no matter what the defense throws at him. And when you combine a coach like that with a defense playing at a championship level, you get exactly what we saw in this game: control, confidence, and complete belief. Think about it, what offense on our remaining schedule truly scares you now? The Cowboys are one of the most explosive units in the entire league, and Denver held them to 17 points. That tells you everything. If the defense can handle that, then every game from here on out is winnable. And with Bo Nix leading this offense, I can promise you this team is going to score enough to stay in every battle. Sitting at 6-2, near the top of the AFC, every goal is still ahead of us. And honestly, if not for one of the most questionable penalty calls you'll ever see on what should have been a game-winning field goal earlier this season, this team could easily be undefeated right now. They went toe-to-toe with everyone. No one has broken this team. They respond. They adapt. They finish. Now, some people love to throw around that phrase, sophomore slump. Well, they can throw it straight in the trash. Because Bo Nix is anything but struggling. In his last 5 quarters of football, he has thrown 8 touchdown passes. 8. That's superstar production. That's poise. That's command. And the way Sean Payton is using him? It's almost surgical. The offense stayed balanced, no panic, no forcing hero ball. They ran when they needed to run. They passed when the defense opened the window. And Bo Nix delivered, 4 touchdown passes, over 250 yards, and it should have been 5 if not for a questionable offensive pass interference call. He dropped a perfect strike to Courtland Sutton twice in the end zone. That's accuracy. That's confidence. That's a quarterback playing with total control. Remove the miscommunication on the opening drive, and his performance was nearly flawless. This is what Sean Payton saw in him. This is what he believed. This is why he refused to listen to critics. Bo Nix isn't just filling a role. He's taking over the role. And the rest of the league better start paying attention. After that early miscommunication on the first drive, something changed. Bo Nix settled in, trusted his reads, and this offense caught fire. They marched down the field and scored touchdowns on 6 of their next 8 possessions, and it honestly should have been 7 if not for a questionable flag and a missed end zone grab. That's execution. That's rhythm. That's confidence. A 117 passer rating in a statement game like this? That's the kind of performance that forces analysts, reporters, and national media to finally pay attention. The numbers don't lie, and neither does the tape. But this win isn't just about the offense. The defense deserves every bit of love. This was a coming-out game for several young players who fans in Denver have been waiting to see shine, and now the rest of the league finally saw what we've been talking about. These guys aren't just rotational pieces, they're difference-makers. And credit to Vance Joseph, he was in his bag all afternoon. Disguises, rotations, delayed pressures, it was beautiful. On that interception that sealed the momentum, the defense showed pressure from one side, baited Dak Prescott into believing the hot route would be open, and then dropped a defensive lineman unexpectedly into the passing lane. Dak never saw it coming. The moment the ball left his hand, the play was already lost. And when that big man got up and started running, you could feel the stadium shift. Energy. Electricity. Swagger. That was the moment Dallas broke. This was the national game of the week, almost every TV in America was watching. Tony Romo called it a playoff atmosphere for the Cowboys. And Denver walked in, took their hope, and shut the door. And we haven't even talked about the rookies on offense yet. The coaching staff is being patient with the young talent, easing them in, letting them learn, letting them earn every snap. But now they're starting to be unleashed. And when those fresh legs hit the field, you can see the difference immediately. Troy Franklin, the speed, the separation, the footwork, 2 absolute highlight touchdowns that we'll get into shortly. The league is starting to realize what Denver fans already know: this roster is loaded with young, hungry playmakers. And they are only getting started. Sean Payton has always been careful with rookies, he makes them earn every snap. And that's why what we're seeing now is so exciting. These young defenders aren't just filling roles, they're winning matchups. They're guarding real NFL playmakers and standing tall. Take the tight end matchup in this game. Jake Ferguson has been one of the most productive tight ends in football this season, statistically right at the top. And Denver put a young defensive back on him, one-on-one in space. And what happened? He shut it down. Perfect positioning. Perfect discipline. That's confidence you can build a future on. Then the interceptions, both from young players. That's not luck. That's coaching. That's preparation. That's a defense that knows exactly what it is. Now imagine this unit when everyone is fully healthy. Imagine an entire game with Pat Certain 2 at 100%. Imagine the full linebacker rotation active and aggressive. If that happens, and it will, the Broncos aren't just a good defense. They have the potential to be the best defense in the NFL. But the growth isn't just on defense. This offense is developing right in front of our eyes. Every touchdown in this game was thrown to, or scored by, a first or second year player. That's the future. That's chemistry. That's a group that's going to grow with Bo Nix for years to come. Bo Nix is only in his 2nd season, and he isn't playing like it. He stayed poised, kept the pocket clean, and refused to let the moment get too big. People can keep saying, sophomore slump, all they want, but he's answering every criticism with production. That touchdown throw into the tightest possible window? Perfect placement. Only his guy could make that play. Even the broadcast booth couldn't help but get excited watching it, because that's the kind of throw that separates good quarterbacks from great ones. And while we're here, this running back conversation needs to end. RJ Harvey isn't just holding his own, he's thriving. 3 touchdowns in this game. Vision, balance, finish, he showed all of it. The comparisons, the doubts, the debates, they don't matter anymore. The tape settled it. Then there's Pat Bryant. The celebration. The confidence. The connection with the fan base. People said he was drafted too high. People questioned the pick. Sean Payton said he reminded him of Michael Thomas, and now we're starting to see why. Because at the end of the day, Payton was right about something deeper. It's not just about the plays, it's about the players. He spent the early season figuring out who belongs on the field when the game is on the line. And now the answers are clear. Pat Bryant. RJ Harvey. Troy Franklin. Bo Nix. This young core is for real. And with a ground game gaining momentum and playmakers stepping into their roles, this offense is beginning to look dangerous. The way Denver ran the football in this game said everything about their mindset. They wanted it more. The offensive line came off the ball with purpose, firing forward, finishing blocks, setting the tone. There was no complacency, no "let's just ride the win streak" mentality. This team played like they were starving, not satisfied. This could have easily been a trap situation. Emotional win the week before, national spotlight, long streak at home. Teams often come out flat in games like this. Sean Payton talked about it all week. But there was zero letdown. The Broncos walked onto that field expecting to dominate, and then they did. And RJ Harvey, what a performance. The speed, the balance, the explosiveness, and then the power when he finishes runs. He was a difference maker in every role they put him in. As a runner? Dynamic. As a pass catcher? Reliable. Even taking snaps in the Wildcat and punching in a score, this is what versatility looks like. There's no need for comparison talk anymore. Denver has their guy. Period. Bo Nix also deserves massive credit here, not just for the touchdowns, but for the way he commanded the pocket. Earlier in his career, he would pull the ball down too quickly, try to escape pressure before the play developed. Not anymore. Now he stands tall, resets, scans, and throws with conviction. That throw to Troy Franklin up and over the linebacker? That's not a lucky play. That's patience, footwork, and trust. He wasn't even looking there first, he worked the progression, waited for the window, and dropped it exactly where it had to be. That's a quarterback growing in real time, in front of the league, and in front of everyone who doubted him. And yes, receivers had a couple drops. It happens. But when the moments mattered, they stepped up. Troy Franklin. Courtland Sutton. Pat Bryant. These guys are gaining chemistry, timing, understanding. Every week they are becoming more in sync with their quarterback. And now look where this team stands, first place in the AFC. 5 straight wins. A statement dismantling of one of the best offenses in football. Momentum isn't something you can measure with numbers, but you can feel it. And right now, the Broncos have the wind at their back. They have belief. They have identity. And they have a quarterback and coach who will not blink. This isn't hype. This isn't wishful thinking. This team is built to play football in January. Clear your schedule. Make room. This team is headed for a deep playoff run, and they're not just looking to show up. They're looking to finish the job. Broncos Country, we believe. Now let's go.